Okay, welcome to the Tuesday show on UltraChenTV. Yeah, it's Tuesday!
Tuesday, woo!
I'm Ultra David, this is James Chen.
How's everybody going?
Doing alright. So we got a very interesting show, in my opinion, coming up. But before we actually get started talking about things, I do want to highlight some stuff that you may have noticed already, maybe not. We now are offering a couple of different ways to support us financially. It's not that
pennies,
big a deal.
Esports pennies.
Right, yeah. I mean, if we do put in a lot of work trying to do UltraChenTV and the shows that we do and now the website that we have at UltraChenTV.com. If you appreciate any of that stuff and you want to give us some dough, be happy to do that. You can look below the stream and see that there are links to two different kinds of support. You can also see the same thing on ultrachentv.com/support. And basically the gist of it is the cheaper one is it goes directly to us, but you don't get, you will still get ads and you won't get emoticons. The other one is more expensive. It's split between us and Twitch, and you will get emoticons and you won't see ads. So there are these kind of trade-offs. If you care about ads, if you care about not seeing ads and you care about emoticons that are specific to us, then do that one.
Yeah, we haven't created any of the emoticons yet, but we'll get those in there at some point in time.
Yeah, we actually would like to know which emoticons you'd like to see. Dude, Keep in mind now, if you have Turbo, you can use emoticons that are us specific on any.
Oh, is that true?
Yeah, on any channel. So okay. Let us know what you'd like to see, because I have no idea.
I already have my vote.
Really?
You in a sombrero with the mustache.
Oh, that would be so sick. Okay.
Come on, and it's got to be like Kerrigan's butthole or something that you got to type to get that or something.
I like that, actually.
That would be so sick. I would be, and they would use that in KOF all the time probably, because that's what your disguise was for, right?
That would actually be super sick. All right, but I like that idea. Let us know if you want to see something about James. I haven't even thought about it.
Dude,
what I would want to see for you.
Well,
maybe you doing this or something.
The
with
one
the
that
table.
I actually liked was on Facebook. It was during it was during Clockwork's stream that he did for the school that I did my angry Hulk face and someone colored me green. And I have that picture on Facebook, and I think that would be a funny one because that's rage mode right there, right?
Okay,
I mean, that seems appropriate. So
okay, all right. Well, this is something that we'll think about. We'd like to get that set up quickly, just as a little added incentive if you care about that stuff.
Right, and I want you to tell people some of the ideas that we have for other things.
Oh, for what you'll get if you support us.
Yes,
that makes a ton of sense. So we would like to do a few different things, and keep in mind that this is just preliminary stuff, and we'd love to have extra ideas. We think it would be cool if people sent in videos that we could analyze. We could break those down. We could give player-specific advice if you talk to us or show us some videos of yourself. We could set up games that we play online. James and I, or one of us, play online. We could. There was one other thing that I thought would be pretty cool. Let's see, what was that? What was that now? Let me see. Oh yeah, and you can get your questions, since that's become a very big part of First Attack,
right,
to be prioritized, to be like kind of moved ahead in the line. So those are some ideas that we have. Again, we would really like to get some feedback, things that you would like to see. Ideas that you have about what we could do, all that stuff. So send that over if you can to ultrachentv@gmail.com or any of the other ways that you can contact us. If you just look below the stream, they're there. Wow, that's so nice!
There you go. That's Angry Hulk Chen right there. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh man, yep, that is Angry Hulk Chen, Hulked out Chen. Okay.
It's hard just looking at that. I don't even. Why are you Hulk? I don't even know.
Someone mentioned something about Hulk and being angry, so I just went on stream, and then someone captured it and colored me green.
All right. Well, that's definitely an idea. I think that'd be pretty funny. But let us know what you think about that.
Okay.
Anyway, this is all new stuff that we've been putting together. You can check it out at ultrachentv.com. Anyway,
Yes.
Let's get on to actual news.
Yes.
And talk about actual stuff.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the big news right now is that the 8th game was decided last week for the EVO donation drive. For those of you who aren't familiar with what was going on, there was the Evolution staff basically said that the 8th game was open for fan voting, and the way you voted was by donating for your game, and all the proceeds would go to breast cancer research. So there was a bunch of games in the running, and it pretty much became very apparent at some point that Melee jumped out in the lead. Then Skullgirls started catching up, and then Super Turbo jumped in there and took the lead at some point. But then in the last couple of days, Melee just basically pulled ahead and took it and ended up taking it with almost $100,000. I think
it was $93,000.
It was about 94. Yeah,
94. And that's crazy because at the start you mentioned that there was this kind of seesaw. When Melee first jumped out, I think it was with $14,000, and we were all like $14,000.
No way,
yeah,
you know.
Like we had no expectation that it would be that. At least I didn't. I don't know about anybody else, but. It ended up with $94,000 with Melee, and overall there was something like $220,000.
$225,000, yeah.
Crazy donated in total.
Fantastic. I mean, that's I almost wish it was just like bigger news. You know, I mean, it was just awesome stuff, and I mean, it's. You know, we have a lot of these different organizations like Child's Play. They get a lot of money. And I remember when Child's Play first started, I think like getting up to $225,000 was like amazing for them too.
Sure.
And, you know, we got there in the first year that we had this donation drive. So I just think that's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, it got covered kind of half-assedly by a couple of news organizations that tend to do that. You know, it would be nice if it had gotten bigger in some way, but what are you going to do? The major deal, in my opinion, is that fighting game community is super awesome. We supported donations really, really well for breast cancer, for a great research, for a really solid thing, and came together and like in true fighting game fashion, it was all about beating your rival and like leveling up competition.
I was really disappointed at the strategy though. The sniping didn't happen as crazy as I thought it was going to. You know. Man, you guys got to step your game up, man. You got to step your donation game up.
But think about it this way, though. If people had done that, people had just waited until the very, very end, would not have been $225,000. It would have been something a lot less.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely true. Absolutely true.
You know, I can't complain too much about how things went. But as you said, Melee ended up winning it. Super Smash Bros. Melee is the game that will be in the 8th EVO game at EVO. Second place was Skullgirls with something like
74,000,
Yeah, and then Super Turbo was even 39. A little distance past that, 39,000. But those were clearly the top three. Yeah. Fourth place was a tiny fraction of those.
Right. But I really want to make sure to point out that EVO staff just announced that Skullgirls is not going to go unrecognized because of how great they did. They are going to dedicate a set of machines in the BYOC area for the Skullgirls community to run their side tournament. And not only that, but the top 8 will be featured on stage and stream, right?
On stream too. Yeah, I think that's awesome news. It really rewards a strong community. Now, I guess after everything's done, I can say that that's what I was rooting for. I donated a bunch to them.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And, it's cool to see that they are getting this recognition. I mean, I feel like EVO's in a position where it has to recognize the fact that this community raised
74,000 with like 3 donation drives, 2 by the Skullgirls community and 1 by Fnatic.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And everybody came out for it. That was the cool thing. We've talked about how we love the fact that this game is community oriented and community driven, community built. All that stuff, and the donation drive was very much like that. Yeah. It was the community that was doing it, but it wasn't just them. It was the fact that the people who made the game are part of the community.
Right.
Not even just the guys like Meg Z who designed it or Alex who drew it and came up with it, but even the voice actresses were.
Oh yeah, they're all
right.
Like
they're all super involved. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, and also, just a minor shout-outs to a lot of I've been tracking the donations a lot. And there were some of the other games that, pretty much everything except for those 3 games were not in the running.
Yeah.
And on the last day, there was a lot of people who donated little amounts of money at the end, knowing that their game wasn't going to win. So, shout-outs to them.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely takes some bravery, I guess, to just throw money at something. I mean, it's not like you're throwing it away. Again, you're donating to breast cancer research, so it's not like it's gone nowhere. But yeah, I also thought it was cool that Super Turbo ended up doing what it did.
Yeah.
I had said it's not what I wanted to see win, even though I love the game. It's my favorite game. It's just not what I wanted to see this time. But whoever donated that thing, they put in a lot of dough. They really did, because the number of people who donated to ST was definitely lower than the number who donated to Melee and Skullgirls. It was a much higher money per donation sort of thing. I don't know who those people were, but man, they did some good work in just a few days.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like you said, you're kind of like, of course, we love Super Turbo. Everybody knows we love Super Turbo. We're not sad that it didn't win, because, to be honest with you, last year I felt like that the ST Revival crew, of Muffin Man, Papasi, Ty, and Muffin Man, and Painter, all these guys, they are obviously super organized, and Super Turbo's going to have a presence at EVO no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
As a side tournament or whatever, because those guys, they know what they're doing, and they have done a great job reviving that game and bringing it back. So
that game will never die. It will always be around.
And so, yes, you're right. It's great to see. It's kind of like we're getting both wins, right? Because Skullgirls is a brand new game that deserves a spotlight. Melee is a game that has been around forever and still has a strong community and it's basically the Super Turbo of the Smash community, right? Yeah. So it's great to see, even though this game is over 10 years old now. Wow, that's crazy just to think about that. But even though it's over 10 years old now, it's still played, and the level of play in this game is just on levels of ridiculousness right now. I mean, I was just watching some match videos a while ago, and I just watched Melee, and I'm just like, I mean, you think Marvel combos are sick? Like, I'm a combo guy. I love combos. And the fact that when you play Melee, that once you start hitting the opponent, because the life is different every single time, and the stage is different every time, and the situation is different, the level of improvisation in combos is amazing. You're not going to be able to do the Marvel thing where once you start the combo, you can look at your opponent and do combos. You have to pay attention to where they're going, how high they're going,
whether they go side to side.
And they can control themselves while they're flying a little bit, and so I love it. Like, when you watch someone land a long combo, it's fun.
Yeah, because it's like but the thing is that, well, depending, there's some situations where it's not the case, but oftentimes when you do a combo on somebody in that game, it's because you're still mixing them up. Like, it's a combo, but like it's a mix-up at the same time.
Yeah,
because you have to guess like where they're going and stuff. So yeah, it's really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that game. But just to kind of close out talking about the EVO 8 game in general, I hope that this happens again next year. I really do. It would be great if we continued to raise as much money as we did, but I don't even think that that's the important point. I felt like it was just so good that we raised any money, and at the same time, there was like this additional level of hype that we wouldn't have gotten. It was like a new sort of thing. It was almost like it was a major. Like when it was coming down toward midnight on that last day. Everybody was going nuts, man. Twitter was ablaze.
I was tweeting like every 5 minutes. I was going crazy. I tracked this for over half a month, you know, just because for my own sake. Yeah, I
mean, I was refreshing on that list. Talking about it in IRC. It was crazy. It was awesome. It's not at all what I expected when they announced the contest. I figured, well, maybe we'll get a few $100, maybe we'll get a few $1,000. I figured MLP would run away with it. I just wasn't that. It would have been cool, but I just didn't expect anything like what ended up happening, and that I really hope is there next year too.
Yeah, and also I just want to say one thing. Well, I mean, I guess we're going to talk a little bit more about Melee when we come back. So let's take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Melee, and there's this whole concept of wobbling an infinite with the ice climbers and such, and I kind of want to just talk about my opinion on that. So, all right, we'll be right back.
Okay, howdy do, and welcome back to the Tuesday show on UltraChenTV. We just talked about how Super Smash Bros. Melee won the EVO 8th game contest. It will be the 8th game at EVO, along with 7 that we've talked about before. But since it won, there has been a lot of interesting conversation, I would say, about Smash in the fighting game community that hasn't really happened for a while.
Right. I mean, for one thing, I just want to set my opinion straight. I think Smash Brothers Melee is a fighting game.
Of course. I think it's ridiculous to assert otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone's like, oh, is this really part of the FTC? Yes, it's part of the FTC.
Get out of here.
They've just been separated from us, and that's why I'm so happy about this, because they've been at EVO before. I was super excited and happy with how that merger was in 2007, I believe it was. And I'm super happy to see them back. And right now, one of the biggest issues, of course, is what the rule set is going to be. Because, Apex, they ran the Smash tournament. It was a 2-day tournament for just like Smash, right? And so if we get more people going to EVO, can we run the same kind of rule set? And so people are debating on what the rule set was. I think the standard rule is 4 stock, 8 minutes. And a lot of people are talking about lowering it to 4 stocks in 6 minutes, and a lot of people argue that if you do that, the matches will take longer because then it's easier to time out. Like if a match normally goes 5 minutes, you're like, oh, there's 3 minutes left, so they fight until someone dies. But now if you get to 5 minutes, you're like, maybe I can run for the last minute. So it might actually make it longer.
Wow.
All this stuff, some people were thinking of going to 3 stock, but then they said, you know what, the metagame, the strategy is surrounded around this concept of 4 stock.
Okay.
So in the end, I believe in the Smash thread that's on the Smash boards, Wizard has said that it sounds like we're going to go with 4 stocks and 8 minutes.
Okay.
We're just going to do it and see how it goes. But one of course, the most controversial rules was wobbling. And for those people who don't know what wobbling is an infinite combo exclusive to the Ice Climbers. I think it was called that because Wobbles was the one who invented it, right? So there's a player named Wobbles who was really good at Ice Climbers. And basically, once you grab someone, if you do the neutral attack, you hit him, and then your partner... So Popo will hit him, and then Nana will swing and hit him. And you basically get it locked into an infinite, and you can do that until the timer runs out or whatever like that. Now, there's already a standard rule built in that says that you can only wobble up to 350%, and once you get there, you have to kill him. So that's kind of a rule. But then a lot of tournaments have banned wobbling, period.
Yeah,
Just said that you cannot do this. And so I actually went on the Smash boards and I asked them some very specific questions. Mostly, when wobbling is not banned, do the Ice Climbers dominate a tournament? And if wobbling is banned, do Ice Climbers suck?
Okay.
So basically, I compared it to Oro and Urien. They have unblockables. And unblockables, on paper, sound like the cheapest thing in the world. Like, this is not fair. You take away their unblockables, they're ass. Right? Especially Urien. Especially Urien. He has
That's definitely worse.
Yeah, he has a lot of problems. I mean, because of the unblockables, particularly for Urien, Urien is a higher-tiered character.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. So he's more tournament viable, right? And so the response that I got from a lot of people was that with or without wobbling, Ice Climbers are not very popular. They don't place any higher if they have wobbling or not.
Really?
Yeah. And so, like, there was 2 tournaments they showed comparisons for, and one Ice Climber got in the top 8 in both tournaments, one with wobbling and one without wobbling. And some people linked me these combos, like, where they grab you and they don't even wobble, but it's just like destruction. And so, in my opinion, there's no reason to ban it. I honestly don't think there's any reason to ban this technique. Some people are saying it might be boring for the audience to watch.
How long does it take to get from 0 to 350?
I don't know, actually. I haven't seen it timed.
Is it 3 minutes or is it 30 seconds?
It might be like 30 seconds or something like that. I don't think it's going to be a full 3 minutes. But all
right. Then whatever.
Anyway, exactly.
Continue.
But I've seen some combos that are just like ridiculous, and they're so cool, and I think they kill people faster anyway. So And honestly, just coming from a fighting game standpoint, we have played games with things like roll canceling and things like infinites in MVC2 and MVC3 now, right?
Yeah.
And we have unblockables. We've never banned them. And,
and I mean, they were real infinites in alphas, right? Like,
Alpha 3.
In Alpha 3, there were actual infinites that took 90 seconds.
Well, Alpha 3 actually was ruined by those infinites.
Okay.
I think.
I just think it was stupid. But
yeah,
okay.
yeah, they actually were kind of messed up. But
Alpha 2 for life.
yeah,
Go on.
Well, yeah, we'll
Go on. Go on.
some other day. But to be honest with you, you know, people are worried that the audience might get bored. Dude, if someone wobbles on stage, you know people are going to go crazy.
Right?
I mean, that's just the way it works. Dude, when Justin starts doing those Storm Infinites in Marvel 3 now, everyone gets all crazy about it.
Well, think about when... who was the Sentinel who did it? Jan at Evo. He was the first one to do the Infinite on the big stage, on the stream, with Sentinel, and people got nuts about that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's going to get less interesting.
Right.
Because you'll just get used to it.
Yeah.
But it's in there.
And then the main point, obviously, is that even with wobbling, like they said, like Fox still like is far and above a better character. Falco's a better character and such. So, you know, I mean, a lot of people talk about it, and you know, just coming from our fighting game background, I just don't even think it's worth talking about. I think they should just be allowed free ice climbers. Basically, is the rally call on the Smash boards.
My view on this is that I have never liked how Smash deals with its rules. I just in a ton of different ways. Yeah. I've disagreed with them pretty consistently about a lot of stuff. And this was just, you know, I didn't take Melee serious as a tournament game, but I did play Brawl seriously as a tournament game. And it was the same kind of deal where I really didn't like a lot of the rules that were being implemented by people who ran Smash tournaments. And this is one of them that I don't like. I think it's stupid to ban this Infinite. It just doesn't seem like it's that big a deal.
Right.
And from my perspective, if something is not that big a deal, let it rock. It's only when something is like really, really ridiculous, like overly ridiculous.
Like the Alpha 3 Infinites.
I guess. I mean, I don't even know if I would ban those. Like, look, we let Third Strike Chun-Li rock. She makes a third of the cast irrelevant.
Right?
I mean, we do all sorts of stupid stuff in games that we're just used to. That's just how we do things.
Yeah.
All of that said, it was the Smash community's effort to put it into EVO. It's entirely because of them that it's going to be at EVO. It's not because of me. It's not because of Wizard. It's not because of EVO. It's just that community itself. And so with that in mind, whatever rules they want to play by, that's fine.
Let them rock.
They can do whatever they want. It's because of them that the game is in there. If most of them don't want wobbling, fine. It's no real skin off my back to not have that in there. It's just like a mild, like really sort of feeling to me, but I don't care that much. And certainly to me, the more important thing is that the community that had all those drives to fundraise and actually did raise money for this, that they get what they want.
Right.
So if that's the case, then fine. I mean, I understand that there might be some logistical issues. You can't have a tournament that's 200 people or 400 people run for 2 days. I get that. So some changes that are probably going to need to be done to deal with that. But as much as possible, I'd like to keep it however Smash Melee wants.
Yeah, I mean, I've even heard that there's like minor issues, like at a lot of Smash tournaments, the button checks last too long and they just go forever and stuff. So.
The hand warmers, you mean? They're not button checks.
Yeah, I know, the hand warmers. But
yeah, I think that's ridiculous too. And I wouldn't allow that. But whatever, man. Again, if they want that.
But apparently there's going to be a rule implemented like 30-second or something like that. But then also if you disable pause, then they have to suicide. I don't know. There's logistics that we got to figure out.
So I'm always concerned with language. That's something that I care about a lot, specifically with like annoyingly academic takes on language. That's what I do.
Right.
And so going to Apex, where which is the Smash Major.
Yes.
It's the Smash Major. I was struck by how they didn't refer to themselves as part of the fighting game community. There was the fighting game side, and then there was the Smash side.
Right.
And even as somebody who's not in Smash, that struck me as really strange that they would kind of accede to this idea that they are not part of the fighting game community. That seems so strange. I understand that there are many separations between the two, but they aren't as deep as maybe they once were. It's you mentioned how old the game is now. It is pretty old, and people who started playing it when they were in their teens are now in their 20s, and essentially the same age as everybody else who plays fighting games, with the exception of geezers like us. Right. But we are not the rule, right? We're the
Right,
exception.
right.
It's mostly like mid to late 20s down to like late teens, and that's basically the same range that Smash is too. And it's not just that; it's the way that they cheer, with the exception of like they do actual cheers, like you know how in Smash it'll be like Marth. They'll do that for the guy's name.
Dude,
but
that's awesome.
That's fine. Yeah.
That's fine.
Other than that, it seemed like the same exact people to me.
Yeah.
Like they really did. So it's weird to me that they even this brings the two together.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's really them going like, we don't want to be a part of it, or they don't want us to be a part of them, so to hell with them, we're just going to do our own thing. You know what I mean? It could be both ways.
It could be. That I don't think that's the case, though. I talked with a lot of people at Apex, and they wanted to see more integration between the Smash community and the rest of the fighting game community, even as they still spoke with the same terminology that people who don't like Smash and come from other fighting games use, about how we're the fighting game community, they're the Smash community, and that there's this separation. So anyway, I hope that with them coming back to EVO, that those separations will kind of be drawn down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see.
And honestly, once you guys, I mean, when Smash was at EVO in 2007, a lot of people were calling it the mini Marvel just because of how fast the game was and how crazy it was.
Yeah.
And it's only gotten that much crazier and faster and more perfected now. So
Sure.
I feel like a lot of people who are not familiar with Smash and expect to see Yoshi throwing eggs around all over the place are going to be really surprised once they start seeing the craziness that comes from like Fox and Marth and all these characters. It's
so at Apex I was watching it with Jay Rosa and a few Smash players, and Jay Rosa and I were constantly commenting on how you could see they were just playing Marvel footsies for like whenever they're kind of in this certain period of on the stage, not ledge kind of stuff, but more in the middle of the stage. It was just like Marvel footsies, seriously. Like it the same kind of like going in, going away, going in, going away, in the air, like that kind of thing. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, hopefully those, we can, let's all get along, hopefully
we'll see.
We can all get along, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man, let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to switch topics entirely and start talking about some big news that was just released earlier this week about Twitch.
Yep.
All right, welcome back to the Tuesday show. We're talking now about some big news that came out of twitch.tv, the stream that you are watching right now, assuming that you're not watching this on YouTube later. But if you watch it live, that's what you're watching through.
Yep.
So the big news was that now there's a Twitch-wide subscription service. It used to just be that you would subscribe to a particular channel. But now that has been added to with this site-wide subscription called Turbo.
Right, Twitch Turbo, and you can see, I mean, even the people looking in the chat right now, I believe if you have the little battery icon with the lightning bolt in it, that means you are part of Twitch Turbo.
That's right.
And so what are the benefits of Twitch Turbo is that after you subscribe to Twitch Turbo, you no longer see ads on any of the channels that you go to. And you mentioned that now you can use the emoticons on anybody's, like if you subscribe to an individual channel. So let's say you're subscribed to Level Up. Now you can use the Infrit and Online Tony heads in any other channel.
Exactly right, yeah. If you have both Turbo and a channel subscription, you can use that channel's emoticons anywhere. In addition to that, there are some Twitch Turbo specific emoticons. I haven't seen them yet. I don't know if they're there. I don't even know what they are. But in addition to that, you can write in a different color to have your messages be more noticeable in the chat. And I guess we didn't mention how much it costs. It's $8.99 per month.
Such a missed opportunity.
Right? 4 cents less? That's all it needed to do.
I know,
and that's like an actual price, too. It's not like it's some joke price. It's
and seriously,
you could believe it.
If it was $8.95, I bet you more people would just do it because it's $8.95. I mean, anyways.
I totally agree. But I don't know. For whatever reason, they didn't do that. They went with $8.99. And that is in comparison to the usual subscription fee for channels, including the one you can see under our stream right now, which is $4.99. Right. streamers have $2.99. I don't know if that's anybody other than Level Up. It might just be them. I'm not sure, but I know that for most it's $4.99. So that's the difference in price. For a subscription to just a channel, you get basically the same benefits, with the exception that it's only for that channel. Right.
You
No
only
ads.
block the ads for that channel. Yeah.
Exactly. And you get emoticons just for that channel. So there are those are the differences between the two.
And, this has started to bring up the concern for a lot of people, because if you subscribe to Twitch Turbo, you block ads on every channel. So what's the motivation now to subscribe to an individual channel? And that's a lot of streamers have started to express this concern, because they're worried. It feels like Twitch might be cutting into their own, subscription base. And, a lot of people have countered with that, well, you subscribe to the individual channels just for supporting the group, and maybe it's because you really do like their emoticons and you want to use them in other channels, right? But at the same time, it just, I don't know, to me it seems like an odd decision that you create this turbo program that allows you to block ads, which essentially, if you do this one subscription for $8.99, which is less than 2 separate channels, that you now have blocked ads on every channel. Like, it just seems like an odd decision to me, because it feels like that might cut into the subscriber base of other channels, of the individual channels.
Okay. When I first saw the Turbo thing, I guess I thought it was fine. That is to say, I think it's a good experiment for Twitch. They're trying to find additional ways for themselves to get money, and I fully support that.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Own3D go down because they weren't able to generate enough revenue, right?
Yeah.
So,
of course, in business, you should be making a profit. And if this can give them a better profit, that's great. I'd love for this service to continue to be around. I don't want it to go away. I like doing what we do. I like watching other people do their streams. That's all fun stuff. So I'm not against any of that at all. But upon thinking about it more, I guess I identified some of the issues that you have with it. One thing in particular seemed very strange to me, and that's that what the Twitch guys were saying was that one of the main reasons to do the Turbo subscription, which would apply to the whole site, is so that you don't see ads anymore, right? But at the same time, they said, well, for the individual channels, don't worry that there's no more incentive for people to not see ads anymore. What they really care about is supporting you. So at the same time, it seemed to me like they were saying, not seeing ads is very important, and also not seeing ads isn't that big a deal.
Right.
Don't worry about it. That just seemed really weird to me. And I don't know that it's like any intentional thing at all. It just might be how they did it, but that's my take on it. Then I'm thinking about it more. I mean, look, I know a lot of people use ad block. That's fine. In my view, ad block is just the cost of doing business for internet content production. I don't think anybody should be under the impression.
I made a mistake here. I accidentally banned Offcast. I was trying to
off
serious? Him. I was trying to off him, and I clicked on the wrong button and I banned him. So I'm trying to figure out how to unban him right now. But keep going.
Yes. So look, I know that people have ad block. That's just something that you have to deal with if you're a content producer online. Not everybody is going to pay for your stuff.
Right.
That's how it is. That's how it's been for the last 15 years since copyright became irrelevant at a personal level on the internet. So you just have to be you have to be okay with that.
Right.
So for lots of people, this is not even an issue anyway because they don't see ads anyway.
Right.
I don't know what the percentage is, but it's something that's not insignificant. It's like a pretty significant number. I know I've heard numbers in the past, but I don't remember what they were. Right. Something not negligible. And so when you're offering no ads as an incentive, it's just not that great an incentive, right? Because for two reasons. One is the ad block thing. The second is that we don't do things during the ads. If you don't have ad block and you're wondering what James and I are doing when we're running ads on this stream, it's nothing. We're sitting here.
You show the logo, and
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's all. You're not missing anything. The only case, and that's how it is for almost everybody, as far as I've seen. I'm almost every streamer. The only case where it matters is the pre-roll. So I understand not wanting to see the pre-roll ad. It is annoying to be on Twitter or something and see somebody's tweet say, "Gotta check out this stream right now. It's so cool. Check out this match that's happening right now." And then you turn on Twitch and it's like, "Oh, here's 30 seconds of ad. Right. Hope the match is still going afterward." That's annoying. Yeah. And so I understand if people don't want to pay for that or don't want to see that. But again, there's ad block.
Right.
So these two in combination make me think that not having ads is not really that big a deal. That's in part why we wanted to do this, the other kind of subscription, right. Because I just don't feel like that's that much of an incentive to not see ads. So.
Right. Now, I mean, I do want to make it clear to a lot of people that even though Twitch, the Turbo will block ads, the streamers still get the revenue off of the ads as if they were seen by the people who are subscribed.
Yeah, whether that's the rate that two possibilities, and I'm not sure which one it is. Mm-hmm. I don't know whether everybody who has Turbo counts as an ad impression, or whether the group of people who have Turbo are counted as impressions at the same rate as everybody else are, because it's the fill rate for ads is not usually 100%. So usually say if there are 1,000 people watching a stream and the ad fill rate is 90%, only 900 people will be shown ads, and we'll only get money for 900 people.
Right.
So whether that's say then you have 1,000 Turbo users, which we're not going to, but say that you have 1,000 Turbo users. I don't know whether all 1,000 will count or whether 900 of them will count.
Right. And plus the other thing too is that there's no change if the streamers are going to get the money for someone seeing the ad and them subscribing to Turbo means that they're still going to get money for that. Turbo doesn't benefit the casters at all. It means nothing changed, right? We don't get extra money for them subscribing to that, right? And I'm worried it's going to cut into the subscriber base. So honestly, one of the things that I am worried about, honestly, is that we've got a chicken or an egg problem here, right? Twitch.tv is nothing without the casters, because if there's no content, there's nothing. But the casters are nothing without Twitch TV, because if there's no Twitch.tv, none of us can do any of this stuff, right? So the problem is, either side, if they just can't... I mean, obviously, we're not doing this for, oodles of profit, right? But there are a lot of people out there who are trying to use Twitch as their legitimate form of income.
There's some, yeah.
And if they can't make a legitimate form of income, they disappear, so the content disappears, so Twitch as a whole goes down, right. In quality. But if Twitch can't make up enough money, then they lose servers, their quality decreases, and then the overall thing goes down. So it's kind of like a fight between, both of them. But honestly, right now, I feel like the content producers are the most important part. You got to establish that base of really strong content producers in order to make everyone feel like it's worth, starting to spend more money on this product. And so I'm worried that the Twitch Turbo was a little too early. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was something they could have done a little bit later, but right now they need to figure out a way to get the casters more revenue and to make the features of Twitch in general just stronger for the viewers. I mean, there's a lot of things. I know, for example, I've complained about the Twitch app all the time on iPad and iPhone. I've just had, don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite apps. I use it all the time because I love watching stuff on there, but half the time it doesn't work, and
the Android one's even worse. Yeah,
you can't chat on the Android one. I think you can get 360p as maximum on the Android one. So, I'd like to see a lot more effort in that kind of thing, or even just I think Tom Cannon kind of suggested it as well. Have it so that you can have DVR functionality. I would love a 30-second rewind button while I was watching some stuff. Right? Just you're sitting there watching and you're typing away on something and someone goes, "Oh my god, what a combo!" and you look up and you're like...
That would be really cool, actually.
So you add a 30-second rewind button and then a catch-up button or something That'd like that, awesome. So you could actually go and see that again. things like that I feel like are really important right now. And so it feels weird as a consumer and as a streamer to think about like all the things that Twitch could do to improve their service, and instead they're working on Twitch Turbo. You know what I mean? It just seems kind of odd to me. But at the same time, like I said, we just saw own.tv go down, and I don't want that to happen to Twitch either. So I don't know. It's really hard for me to say what's right or what's wrong at this point, because I don't know what their financial situation is.
No idea.
Yeah.
But I doubt that this is the only thing that they're working on, right? I mean, they can be working on multiple things at once. Mm-hmm. I know they don't have 1 million employees, but I'm sure that they have multiple things going on. So maybe like some are working on Turbo and some are working on the app. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. But you mentioned the timing, and to me the timing seems absolutely perfect for them. I don't know whether it's on purpose or what, but with Own3D going down, they have no real competitors in this space, specifically in the video game streaming space. Right. Maybe in streaming overall, but not really in the video game streaming space. And even streaming overall is not that big a deal, apart from major acts and Twitch.
Right.
So there's nowhere that we can go, right? Like, if you don't like this, if we don't like this, we're kind of screwed. If we want to keep doing streaming, it's with this service or nothing.
Right.
Effectively, where I'm not gonna isolate myself by going to something else. There's a whole set of network effects that are going on here that creates a natural monopoly. That's just how the internet is in a lot of situations. Yeah. So that's just something we have to deal with, which is why it makes me think this is perfect timing, because they know that now, as of like last week, we just got to hold this, right? So,
right. I mean, plus the other thing too that I find odd is that the subscription, they do take a piece of that subscription, right?
They do.
So from the individual channels, they take a piece of that. So I almost feel like, shouldn't you push for more people to subscribe to the individual channels? Because they're still getting money, and they're giving their broadcasters more money.
Well, I mean, I suppose, but it's probably better for them to get the $9 than to get whatever percentage of the $5, just as an average. That's my guess. I'm not sure, though. That'd be really interesting to see data on. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in any case, I kind of feel like, even though there are these things that we think are weird about it and objections that we have, I kind of think that we're making maybe too big a deal out of it. Because almost nobody makes a living off subscriptions. Even if you're making a living doing streaming on Twitch, it's really not because of subscriptions. Subscriptions account for a tiny, tiny percentage of viewers.
Right.
Tiny percentage. I mean, with our subscriptions, I have no illusions that we're going to get 100% of people subscribing, or even 50% or whatever. It's going to be much less than that. How we make most of our money is, and probably still will be, through the ads. Even though it's not terribly much. But say that we're some major LOL streamer, and we're getting 20K at 12 noon, right? Which happens sometimes. They are not getting their money because of subscriptions. That subscription, even though it's $5, and even though they get, a healthy percentage of that, they are making their money through the ads. So this is not that big a deal for most people, I think, who make money on streaming.
See, this is where my I guess complaint, I don't want to call it complaint, but where my point of view comes from is that, like I said, I feel like it's a huge responsibility for Twitch to make sure that their broadcasters are happy, that they are getting, that they feel comfortable with this, right? You're right. They're probably not making a living off of subscriptions, right? And to me, that is a problem.
I agree.
Like, that is something that should be fixed. Subscriptions should be a major part of their revenue, right?
Okay.
And so if you do add in 30-second rewind functionality, but only give it available to the people that subscribe to the channel, so you only get it for the channel, or, for example, create different levels of personal subscription packages for the channel that you get more and more features. So $2.99 gets you emoticons. $4.99 gets you emoticons and ads are blocked. $9.99 gets $8.95 gets you, you know, the 30-second rewind functionality, and then maybe like some crazy package gets you like some, I don't know, like you can come up with things and see what, to me, that benefits everyone. It makes the broadcasters happy, and it also makes Twitch revenue at the same time. That's where I feel like that's where my concern comes from, is that obviously, like I said, we're not in this to make money, right? But a lot of other people are trying to rely on this. And this is an untested media, an untested form of entertainment that we've never thought about. No one's ever done this before.
Very recent, yeah.
Right? And so people are making money off of YouTube channels and stuff like that. So this could be another way for people to do it. And that will create levels of content and quality of content. And if you keep the broadcasters happy, I mean, if you're someone who's trying to make a living and you're like, maybe I can do it through this way, and you look at your esports pennies and you're just like, oh man, this isn't working, and you're miserable and depressed all the time, you know, it's a different cry than if Twitch is like, okay, here, we're helping you with this package. Here's this idea.
I see what you mean.
Here's this idea. And then they make better content, and then Twitch.tv gets better overall.
So it's not just the financial support by itself. You want the additional kind of backing, not just financial backing, but real kind of, we got your back sort of backing.
Yeah, exactly.
I understand.
Exactly.
I think that there's definitely a role to play for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But man, I would totally pay for the 30 seconds thing. I don't care about emoticons or no ads. Like I said, I feel like the no ads thing is just kind of a herring. I just don't care about that.
Right.
With the exception of like the rarity where I want to see something immediately.
Right.
But I would totally pay for that.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. On a related note, I want to let everyone know this will probably be our last broadcast on Twitch, because we're going to be canceled from Twitch.tv after tonight. So I hope you guys have been enjoying our channel. No, I mean, seriously, I mean, everything I say, like I said, is out of constructive criticism.
For sure.
And like I said, I want to help Twitch make money, because I don't want this to go away, right? And so, but honestly, I really feel like that, you know, for them to make money is to make sure the broadcasters are happy, because then they create better stuff and you give better features to the viewers, you know, and it's just, it's a symbiotic relationship. It's a very symbiotic relationship, and it's very brittle and fragile. So I understand how hard it is for them to do this.
Yeah.
You know, so
I wish that I knew more about the economics of their situation. I wonder whether this is provoked in some way by the Own3D thing, or whether they took advantage of it. Maybe this has been planned, and this is like a taking advantage of that.
I think it's probably more that.
Yeah, that's my guess too. But also, I mean, maybe they need to make money like right now. I don't know. I mean, I really have no idea.
It's true.
It's a possibility. Man, I feel like Fox News right now. Is your mother a prostitute? Like, you know, I'm just asking questions.
What are your kids watching on the internet?
I'm just asking questions. You know? No, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, maybe that's a factor. In conclusion, I feel like I want Twitch to make more money, but I think I agree with you that my number one thing is for Twitch to survive and for people to have the ability to watch streams, because that's awesome. Yeah. And so if we can give them some criticism that I'm sure they're not going to care in the slightest about, that then that's great. I hope that they can make all of this stuff work. Yeah. But right now, I feel like there's some issues with it.
Yeah, so. And we should probably also point out, I believe it's this Thursday, so 2 days from now, Fish Sticks is going to be on The Fray, and he's going to be talking about it, and he's going to answer a lot of questions. So The Fray is a show that runs on iPlayWinners channel, and it's just like it's basically, you know, like what we're doing, just talking about situations, but you have guys like Fubar Duck on there, Eris on there.
Andrew's on there.
Derry runs that, and he hosts it now. Yeah. Like you said, Magus is on there. They get different people. Last week they had Gutex on there, you know, and Kugi on there.
Right, yeah.
So it's really interesting stuff, and supposedly Fish Sticks is going to be on there this Thursday.
Yeah, you can check that out at twitch.tv or youtube.com/iPlayWinner.
Yeah, so that will probably be a really good thing for all of us to listen to find out more details.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I think that'll be really cool to see.
Yeah.
So I guess we're about running out of time. I just want to mention before we go again, Please check out our website. It's ultrachentv.com. You can watch the stream live there. You can also give us some support there at /support. Or if you're looking below the streams, you can find ways to support us there as well. Like we just got finished saying, it's not all about the money for us, but it would be nice to kind of recoup some of our costs.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And also, speaking of Schoolgirls that we talked about, how it's getting all this support, during the very last donation drive, Mike Z revealed a brand new character that they're going to do, Squiggly, I think
Squiggly,
it is.
yeah. I mean, character that we knew was coming for a long time,
right.
But it's official that it's going to happen now,
yeah,
so that's
and
good.
Mike Z is going to be on Cross Counter coming up right now, probably starting right now. So definitely check that out to get some more information about Schoolgirls and about the DLC characters and such. And they'll probably talk about the PC release and stuff because they actually had more updates on that recently as well. So.
All right, great. So make sure that you go check that out. We'll be back next Monday, as always, at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So see you then.
Peace.